If you knew there was a simple process that could take you from emotional hell to a relative emotional heaven, or from the muddiest depths of emotional mud to the not necessarily the mountaintop, but somewhere pretty close in 15 minutes, if you could have a massive shift in perception from what do we call it? Misdemeanor mode, from felony mode into misdemeanor mode. How to just de-escalate in 15 minutes. Would you like to try that? Would you like that? A tool like that? Joey's saying yes.
Yes.
So, in this age of anxiety, division, emotional, and technological overload, and even Mercury retrograde that we are in right now, millions of people, including ourselves, are searching for ways to heal relationships, regulate the nervous system, find inner peace. That is a tall order. And most approaches out there depend upon circumstances outside our control, waiting for an apology, reconciliation, some validation, someone else to change. And if that repair does come from the other person, it can often feel rare and even unsatisfying and maybe even unsustainable. Like, well, when's the other shoe gonna drop? Is that the right? Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna drop. So DreamCraft Your Life offers a very different approach. So today, Joey Sutton and I, if you are watching, you can see her beautiful face with her cute new haircut. Joey and I are going to explain a little bit about what dream crafting is. It's magical. It's got a little bit of the witchy, even though just a touch. It's not a witchy thing, although it does create magic. So let me first tell you about Joey Sutton if you don't already know who she is. And if we're, you know that she's my co-host on Anatomy of Friendship. But she's also a board certified holistic health counselor, founder of Love Your Way to Health. She's a writer, educator, artist, and certified human design analyst. Her own healing journey began with ulcerative colitis, chronic pain, and multiple surgeries that led her to therapy, meditation, food as medicine exploration, and personal growth work. 3 years of master's level study at Emperor's College of Traditional Oriental Medicine deepened her understanding of the body as an interconnected system. But she found that healing needed a higher medicine, one that included falling in love with her shadows. And that will be a book of hers that will be coming out at some point very soon. So, Joey's personal story highlights living through childhood instability, family addiction, divorce, single motherhood, and a long-term lesbian relationship, disabling injuries, financial rebuilding, and the heartbreak of supporting her beloved son Cole through schizoaffective disorder. And after completing training through NAMI, that's the National Alliance on Mental Illness, she became a volunteer parent, mental health educator, teaching families how to cope with mental illness. And yes, as I mentioned, Joey co-hosts Anatomy of Friendship, and she is just simply the wisest human on the planet, and my mud sister and partner in Shine in Anatomy of Friendship, and so many things. And I just love this human so much, and I'm so grateful that we are having this baby together, Dreamcraft Your Life. So, hi, Joe. How you doing?
Hi, how am I doing? Wow, that was generous. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Okay, so let's get into, I mean, there's so many things we can say about dream crafting, but off the top of your head, let's do a little, what is dream crafting for you right now, and how would you describe it?
Yeah, okay, let's riff a little bit. Um, so with that little bio you read,
Yeah.
if you think about just coming from your normal everyday dysfunctional home,
Hmm.
there's a lot of circumstances that can compound to be really unsatisfying and create aberrant behaviors that draw
Hmm.
in strange relationships that can draw in some pretty uncomfortable dynamics. And I have, like most people, try to get my partners and family members to say what I want them to say and do what I want them to do so I can be happy. And
Hmm.
that is just not sustainable. That's just
Hmm.
not sustainable. And then I turn into a control freak. So I would say dream crafting for me was born from so much frustration in relationships and difficulty in communication with my kid and struggles with family members. And, I twist myself up into a pretzel trying to become so responsible, radically responsible for myself. But there was still this little victim in me
Mm. Hmm.
that really wanted somebody else to be as responsible as I was being, and
Hmm.
give me all the right words and responsibility. There was just something a little bit victimy about me. And I feel like externalizing my need for peace was an unsustainable model for safety or satisfaction in relationships and life. And so I started like talking to myself,
Hmm.
imagining somebody in front of me and having them
Mm.
say everything to me that I wish that they would say. And then it changed me. It changed me inside. And
Hmm.
um, yeah, I started practicing that a whole bunch.
Hmm.
And then I noticed like after a while that people would come to me and say like at least half of what I said to myself. And they shouldn't have said the first half anyway,
Right,
because it's like
right.
over and above my ego. I mean, I was really laying it on thick. Nobody should really talk to you like that. So
Like, oh my
getting
God, you're the best, you're the greatest. I'm not worthy of you. And I am so
exactly.
lucky that you're even on this
Yeah,
planet at the same time I am, much less in a relationship with me. Oh my God. Yeah, I am not
exactly.
worthy.
Right. But it's like it created this pocket inside. Like, we talk about this catcher's mitt, or you say dream catcher's mitt. Like it created this catcher's mitt of like, I gave it to myself. Now there's a pocket for it to be received. So if it does come from outside, there's somewhere for it to go.
Mm,
Because in the past, no one could ever quite give me enough to satisfy me. It's like when I gave it to myself, then when someone gave it to me, it had a place to land. I had already
mhm,
given it to myself, and like you say, then it's frosting on the cake.
mhm,
So, and then I'll let you talk about this, but there's versions of this all over the place. There's versions of this in dream work and in dream theater and in constellation therapy, and like there's all these places that
mhm,
you've done versions of this, and like there's like an amalgam that's happened inside of me, inside of you, and then with us.
mhm.
So how about if I hand it back to you and just say, like,
Mm.
you know, what what is dream crafting for you? What's your experience with it, and how's it working on you, and how do you want to answer that
Oh
in
my God.
any other
So
way?
many things, so many things. In this moment, I don't know if I shared this with you or not. So this, I heard this story, and I don't know who said it, but apparently it was a therapist who was working with a client that had a husband that was just an ass. And she was always complaining about her asshole husband. And the therapist told her to write love letters to herself from him. So this is related, but anyway, so she every single day would write a beautiful flowery love letter to herself. Dear Sophie, whatever her name is, you are the most gorgeous woman on the planet. The sun sets and rises right on your beautiful smile. You are the most glorious, gorgeous, intelligent, funny, witty, creative, brilliant burst of sunshine in this universe. Oh my God, I can't. Like she just got really, really good at writing these love letters to herself from her husband. She didn't sign them from him, but she just wrote them to herself.
Oh,
So,
right. Okay.
so she would write these letters longhand in paper, and she would fold them up and put them in a drawer in in her whatever, her
Bedside
dresser
table.
drawers.
Mhm.
And one day, after months of her doing this, she had all these letters. Her husband found the letters. He opens them up. She comes in and she catches him having read all these letters, and he looks at her and he's like, I I can't keep up with this. I can't
Compete.
compete with this. I can't compete with this. I'm out of here. So he assumed she was having an affair with somebody that was just treating her so wonderfully. So he left. And soon thereafter, she met someone that, lo and behold, did treat her very much the way her letters treated her. So this is a little bit different, but it's just popping into my head for a moment
Very
because it's
similar.
kind of like if we change ourselves, if we really up level ourselves, if we become the absolute best version of ourselves, our circumstances are going to change. The person that we're interacting with that is the problem is either going to have a breakthrough that matches us, or they will leave to make space for somebody who is resonant with us to come in. And in that case, I mean, she was hoping to make it work with her husband, but she fell so madly in love with herself, she was fine when he left. So, in many ways, dream crafting is a lot like that. It's where I was just talking to somebody the other day, and I know you and I have talked about this in different versions, that if you're having a difficult time with somebody, we have to imagine that we're standing on opposite sides of a of a plate glass window. And what our work to do is to get the Windex out and clean our side of the window. We can't step around, squirt Windex on their side of the window and do the work for them. That's theirs to do, but ours is to clean, clean, clean our side. And once we do that well enough, we're going to have clarity about whether to stay, whether to leave, what to say, what to not say. And by us being clear, that other person might see us and notice us with our little Windex, and they might get inspired to get out their own Windex, not because we're forcing them or making them, but they just might pick up the cue by mirror neurons. They might do it themselves. So those are the things that I'm thinking about. We don't necessarily, like you and I talk all the time about Byron Katie and how much we love her work and the work of Byron Katie, and how she did all this inner transformation while she was married. And at some point, she left, even though most of the work was internal, but she didn't leave in a huff. She didn't leave slamming a door. She left because she had shifted so much, but he's back in her life. I don't know what the details are of her circumstance, but there's physics. If we shift our inner chemistry, the world outside of us shifts. And that's all that we can do. So, but one of the things that I think we notice in the work, and I'm going to pass it to you after I ramble on about this, is that it does tend to work like a relative level of magic when we do the work, imagining the other person giving us the words we want. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I was really hurt. I was wounded. I was scared. I didn't mean to say those things. I think you're the bomb. You are amazing. Please forgive me. I love you. And whatever specifics, once we give that to ourselves and then we calm down, as you said, we become kind of that inner equivalent, that catcher's mitt, that dream catcher's mitt for them to kind of rise to the occasion. We're not in conflict. We're not like a radio station with a bunch of static that's kind of pushing it away. We're at least open. If they are going to rise to the occasion, then we're going to notice it. So that's kind of what I'm noticing. Not wanting to have to do the work for other people, not putting up with abuse if that's what's happening, but doing the work that is mine to do, no matter what relationship I'm in. All right. I'm passing the talking stick back to you. What is this bubbling up for you? I know several things.
Yeah.
What
I'm
are you
glad you
noticing?
told that story about that woman. That
Yeah,
was
isn't
actually
that
a
cool?
really, yeah, no, I know, and I know the story. I just think it was really well placed for talking about
Mm,
dream crafting. So as we bat it back and forth, I just want to say, dream crafting is a technique. It
It's a
it
tool.
it's a tool. It's a tool.
Yeah.
And it started out as just like imagining somebody in front of me and then having them say to me everything that I
Yeah.
want to hear.
Yeah.
But and over the years of you and I practicing it together,
Yeah.
years and years and years and years, just for our listeners, I just want to say that,
Or viewers
our viewers and our
or
listeners,
anybody. Yeah.
that, yeah, that one day, I don't know, 15 years after dream crafting was born,
Holy
um,
God.
you had a dream about a formula, and you
Right.
called me and you
Yeah.
were like,
Let's have a
why,
baby.
you want to have a baby? And I'm like, yes, let's have this baby, and there's so many things about our work together over the years that informed so many of the ingredients that helped for dream crafting to be born. It just felt like, you know, it just deserved to be ours. And then the fact that you came up with this formula, which we have morphed and changed many times, but the fact that it came in a dream, you dreamifester, dream crafter, the fact that it came in a dream or in that dream state was
Yeah.
so magical. It was just like, oh my God, it just felt like, oh, now we can hand people this formula and they can learn
Mm.
the formula. And then the formula is like training wheels because we keep reformulating the formula
Yeah.
because we keep getting better and better at it. And
Yeah.
sometimes we don't do the whole formula. We just go straight for the voice or whatever. But
Right.
but
Right.
but I just want to say, just for specifics, that this formula at this moment
Yes. Let's
is
do it.
is looking like,
Can
craft
I
is the formula. Why don't you take it?
can
Yeah.
I just jump in for 1 second? So let me
Yeah.
just add in for anybody watching or listening that is into dreams, the dream aspect of dream crafting is, from my perspective, it's the it's the permission to open up our mind outside of what is logical and ordinary and concrete and typical. Because typically, if somebody steps on my toes and I am in pain, I say, ouch, and I tell them, and they say, well, why was your foot there? Shouldn't have been there. What, you're pretty lame for leaving your foot in the way where I could step on it. I become incensed, I become angry, and then I suffer thinking until that person apologizes, I'm going to be swallowing this poison, expecting them to feel it. But turns out they rarely ever feel it, if any. So dream crafting is a way to be able to access the dreaming part of the mind, to imagine I have psychic powers, because hello, we do. We can all tap into the higher self realm, where our higher self is, where the higher self of all people hang out. And in fact, in the telepathy tapes, they call this place the field, and it go the hill. Sorry,
The
the
hill,
hill.
the
And
hill.
it and it's even beyond that. But I'm just going to say we all have a certain access to imagine, or as Julia Cameron would say, using our imagination, about imagining what would the higher self of that other person say. For example, oh my God, I stepped on your toe, Kelly. I am so sorry. Oh my God, I didn't even see your foot there. I'm so sorry. I never mean to cause you pain. And then I doubled down on the pain physically, and told you that you were a jerk for leaving your foot there. Oh my God, I am so embarrassed. Please forgive me. Oh my God. So I can imagine that apology coming from their higher self, and it feels pretty good. I mean, I have to admit that as a human, nothing feels quite like getting the actual apology, but when I can give myself like 80% of what I'm wanting, even 50% of what I'm wanting, that is pretty friggin' powerful. Then I don't suffer while I'm waiting for an apology that may or may not ever come. So the dreaming part is the imagination aspect, because some people are like, that person that hurt my feelings, that cut me off, that left me out, that is always saying that jerky thing, they don't even have a higher self. So the dream part is kind of like, well, let's just imagine if they did. Let's see them through God's perspective. God made dirt so dirt don't hurt. So even dirt's not so bad. Like, let's just imagine what God's perspective is. Okay. all of that to just say that's where the dreamy piece comes from. And then and sometimes we can even ask our dreaming mind at night before going to sleep, if we're still having a rough moment, to call on in our dream time our ability to see that person's higher self or to invite the forgiveness that we're looking for. Sometimes I just repeat that Marianne Williamson quote, and this is for myself, and it's the pain in relationship is not from the love we don't get, it's from the love we withhold. So that's kind of an invitation for me to just love them, Father, for they know not what they do. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. Okay, so maybe we can, and then we go to so that the dream is the out of the box thinking aspect, and then the craft is the actual craft, CRAFT, an acronym for how to get our hands into it. So it's not just a theoretical thing when we're really live and on fire. We need something simple to actually do. So it boils down to a few simple steps. So Joe, do you want to start with the C and then we'll pass it around?
Yes, C is for complain
My
because
favorite, my favorite part.
yes, yes, because we're not a fan of spiritual bypassing.
Mm-mm.
We're not a fan of
Because it don't
pretending that what
work.
happened didn't happen.
Yeah,
So we need to give ourselves a chance to complain. Let the
yeah.
ooze out. Let the pus out. Let the that sounded
Okay,
gross.
you get the idea.
Get the sand out
Pop
of the
that zit.
oyster. Yeah. Oh, you gross to be, and you
Sorry.
were gross with me, and then you add a zit. Okay. All right.
Get
But
the
yeah,
bees
like
out of the bonnet.
let's get great. Let's get the bees out of the bond. Let's just let them out. And so complain, and that complain is part of like it's part of I was going to say part of the release process, but
Not
no,
yet. Yeah.
it's part of the reality process. Like
Mm.
in my human body, I have a bunch of complaints. I've got a lower part of me, and before I can get to the higher part of me, if I'm a pogo stick, I need to hit the ground first before I can
Mm. Ooh,
head
I
up.
love that.
Oh, thanks.
Ooh, nice. It's
Okay.
kind of
All
like your
right.
thing with your sister Kelly, the yippee
That's
yippee.
yippee, yippee,
Yeah.
yippee. Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about
All
that later.
right. So we let ourselves complain, and we give, you can complain as long as you want, but like once you get it out, like you probably want to feel better. Otherwise, you wouldn't be dream crafting. If you
And
want
if
to,
we're thinking in terms of this being a 15-minute thing, I mean, you
right,
can time yourself and you can say, all right, I'm going to give myself 5 or 10 minutes because most of the work, I think at least half of the work is in the complaint, just naming it, getting it out. And then, so
right,
give yourself 5, 6, 7 minutes to just say everything you want to say, every expletive, every shaming thing. And you're not affirming that that's true. You're
right.
alchemizing it. You're putting it in the alchemy cauldron to be shifted. So give yourself permission. Keep going, Joe. Or should we
Okay.
move to,
No, no, let's move to R. Go
let's
on.
move to
Take
R.
take
Okay,
R.
so R is for release. And again, this is all a work in progress, and this is what we know so far. So R is for release. So once we've complained, because it's so easy once we've been triggered to just keep wanting to keep like replaying that because there's some kind of a righteous anger that feels good to kind of chew on because usually the anger covers up the vulnerability and those softer emotions. So we might otherwise keep looping. But let's say that once we've given ourselves 5, 6, 7 minutes to complain, we want to release it. Now, this is when we release. And one of the things that I like to do, and we talk about this Joey and I were in Costa Rica together with our friend Marjana, and we had this beautiful waterfall experience in Costa Rica. So I picture a waterfall. I picture myself underneath, and I'm going to picture it even right now. That I'm just like when the waterfall is strong, not so strong that it hurts you, but really strong. You can't hold anything. You can't tighten. It's like, oh, it's just taking all the pressure, all the pain, all the story away, washing you clean, helping you to let it go. And we also talk about the somatics of it. We want to bring in the body. This isn't just a mental part. So, where are you holding the pain in your body? Often, to me, it's my shoulders immediately. Sometimes it's the front of my head, my heart. It's like there's a cement plate covering my heart. Sometimes it's my belly, but usually those are my places. So I'm imagining that's where it is and I let go. What else do you want to say about the our
Yeah,
feelings maybe?
I think just sort of naming. I like the idea of doing a body scan where you kind
Yeah.
of imagine, like laser of a flat laser kind of going through you, and it kind of
Mm.
hits a little, ooh, headache. Okay, I see that. I'm gonna let it melt. And then, oh, my neck is hurting. Okay, so I'm gonna let that melt. And the shoulders are tight. Okay, I'm gonna
Oh,
let
I
that
love that.
soften and melt. And any tension just all the way from the head to the toes, let them melt. And I love the waterfall, and I love an hourglass. I also like an
Mm.
hourglass where the glass is filling up with a gentle sand. And I know that's different than releasing. It sounds like it's, well, why don't we empty out the hourglass? Okay, let's empty it. There's a hole in the bottom of the hourglass, and these are the
Yeah.
days of our lives.
I love it.
So that's releasing because, as my sister Kelly says, genius that she is, that we need to deal with our physiology before we deal too much with emotions and
Yes.
thoughts. So
Yes.
if we handle physiology and we get ourselves to a regulated place, which my vote for R was regulated, but Kelly said she couldn't remember. You couldn't
I
remember.
liked
And
it. I like that it
I know,
is about
but you couldn't
regulating the nervous
remember.
system,
It
but
is.
it's a little too sophisticated when I'm coming off of complaining. I'm like, what's
Yeah.
that fancy word,
Well,
regulator?
I know I kept forgetting it too. So you were right. Release was
Just
great.
release. My
And
cave
that's such a
woman
great.
self can do that.
Yeah. And plus in all of our women's groups, we always do a releasing ceremony. So I feel like
Yeah.
it's such a beautiful idea. But anyway, I just feel like it's really important to in that
Mm.
somatic, like you said, in that somatic place that we make sure that we're attending to each check
Yes.
engine light on the body,
Right. Oh,
every
I love that,
dashboard
Joe. That's
light,
good.
right? And you give it some attention, and as you give it attention, then it softens and melts. But we don't give it attention, it just starts screaming louder, like,
Right.
like
Like,
a
don't forget
like a
me.
smoke alarm screaming, but it doesn't scream if we give it some attention.
I want to add one little thing here to
Okay.
this. If it's a really big thing that you're dream crafting, like not just a typical daily annoyance, but we're talking like if one of those massive things come up, the big capital T traumas, I think sometimes we can do the releasing in a ceremonial way to put it in an external place. Um, like build an altar, create a piece of art, dig a hole, do the releasing in a way that is external to the body. So we're not saying this didn't happen, I'm forgetting about you, this trauma was real, but I'm putting it in a place of honor outside my body so my body doesn't have to keep holding it and recycling it because it's like I don't want you to forget what happened because I don't want you to have to go back and relearn that lesson again. So I'm going to keep holding it. But if I put it out here and I make it beautiful, I write a story about it or I put it on my altar, then I'll never forget it. But I can free up my own bandwidth to be open to the next moment, which is for the Dreamcraft, it's the A. And the A to me is if we're going to do the nutshell of dream crafting, if you only have 1 minute, it's kind of like this is the letter to go to because and it's right in the center of the acronym. And when in the past, for all these years before this acronym came in, all
Acronym
we did
was
was
the
go
A.
right to the A. And the A, take it away, Joe.
Is attune. So it's like tuning into the higher self of the person who we think did the offending behavior. So for me, I would picture the person in front of me and I would like see them kind of in their light body as though had they were on the other side of the veil and they were like, oh yeah, sorry, when I was on earth, I kind of sucked. I'm so sorry. But but this I think is so important because we need to help people. And in the book we're writing, Dream Crafting, we want to make sure that we give people the ability to define and have a good relationship with what that higher self sounds like. Because a lot of
Mm,
people, we get limited by our earthly limitations in thought,
mm,
but a
hmm
higher self has a sense of how it's its life is connected to my life, is connected to other people's lives, is connected to ancestors, is connected to a life
Mm.
evolution plan. Like there is a large window and way to attune to someone's higher self. So at first we just start with boots on the ground, right? Like, I'm so sorry I did that thing. That really sucked. I know I've been really stressed lately, but that doesn't excuse how I'm behaving. I want to treat you like you're precious. I'm bumbling around. I feel embarrassed. I don't even feel lovable. I'm so sorry. And you know that's where we started. Like that was enough.
That's
That was
enough.
enough back then. But we've gotten bigger since then. So that's why these are training wheels. We start with the training wheels. We start to get comfortable with attuning to a higher self. Then we get attuned to a higher vision entirely of the whole universe. And so we'll call those extra credit
Hmm.
for now. All right. Do you want to add something to attune?
Yeah, it feels like it is a radio dial that we're tuning into, this higher self FM. That's always there, and we're just allowing whatever words to come through. And when I think of you, Joe, I think you are, and I wrote this in our proposal, our book proposal for DreamCraft Your Life. Um, that you are the ninja of ninjas. You're like the world champion because I can do the basics and that helps. But you, sometimes we do this for each other. So this is where if you have somebody that 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 does this practice with you, they can say, "Can I help you with that?" Like you just dream crafted this person what they would say, but I am seeing a few more things. I'm seeing this, oh my God, this blind spot of mine is so gnarly. I have so much work to do. I am so sorry. You so didn't deserve that. You are so beautiful. I'm just jealous of you. I just wish I could be a tenth of like where we just kind of lay it on a little thicker, which isn't to say it's just flattering and pandering to the ego. It's really tapping into what the highest self would say, that deep, loving, devoted self. Like if we, I mean, I had my own little death experience, and on the other side, it's just pure, pure honey, rich love. There is no ego, no defensiveness. What anybody would say to us from their higher self without an ego would be pure love. So it's just tapping into that wavelength. And I'm remembering Michael Beckwith at Agape International Spiritual Center. He would talk about, I don't know if this is an actual phrase from the Bible or if it's in a biblical conversation, but they talked about how there was Job standing behind Job's back talking to whoever was there. So, like Job, in a moment of forgetting, there's this higher Job that is saying, "Oh, look at him. He's forgotten. Oh goodness, he's lost right now." Or, oh, like so there's this being literally standing behind us or standing behind the person that is offending us, that is looking down and going, "Oh my God, he's so blowing it right now. Why is he being such an ass? I'm so sorry. He doesn't really mean that. Don't listen to what he's saying. She's lost right now. Oh my God." Like there's this higher self standing literally over their shoulder. And if we attune to that, that's really, really where the magic happens. And this is where the muscle comes in because it's hard to do because we can easily say that person doesn't have a higher self. That person would never say that. And I say, yes, they would. Their higher self, everybody's higher self would basically say the same things with a little nuance based on their unique personality and based on you. But mostly it's just a fire hose of love. So that brings us to the F.
I
Yeah, say
think I
one more
might need
thing.
to say one more thing. Yeah.
Yeah, please.
So there's a lot of nuances in the attune.
Yeah.
Some of it also has to do with something we've been talking about lately, which is really almost to put ourselves in the other person's shoes as well. So like we let their
Mm.
shoes talk. Like I know I have been acting like a jerk and I haven't been telling you that my feelings have been hurt lately. And I haven't been communicating that because I've been too afraid. And, you know, when I do that, I end up with resentment. And when I end up with resentment, I end up like acting like a jerk. And I realize that I haven't told you that my feelings were hurt. And instead I hurt your feelings because I held it in. Like we're playing with making sure that it's not just, you're the offender, that person's the offender, and to all apologize to me. Also, I noticed in early years of dream crafting, I remember when there were times when I could not dream craft satisfyingly. And I realized that it was
Mm.
because there was something I had done that I didn't take responsibility for. And
Ooh,
it was
ooh,
like it was why I stuttered when I was trying to do it. Like I couldn't take it in, it wasn't working. There was literally something that I had done that I needed to take
ooh.
responsibility for. So sometimes I would reverse Dreamcraft and I would imagine that person in front of me and I would apologize to them for that thing that I did. And
That's next level.
then I
That's
would let
next
them
level right there.
apologize to me. And by the way, you are black belt, you are ninja. Like we
Thank you,
both add to each other. Good God, there's no comparison. There's no comparing here.
Mm,
I think we both have been practicing this a long time.
mm,
Anyway, so I just want to say that there's a lot of nuance to the A, and we
hmm.
can go from the simple to the complicated, and you can do that over time, and it'll happen in our book as well.
And just to tie in a little dream focused element, Carl Jung taught that when we're interpreting a dream, one way to look at it is from the perspective that everyone and everything in our dream is an aspect of ourselves. So we would say the fireman aspect of myself, the dog aspect of myself, the hero aspect of myself, the villain aspect of myself. And that gives
The
us a
inanimate
real
objects.
the teapot aspect of myself, the broken coffee mug part of myself. That just happened today. But like to recognize that I have permission to speak on behalf of everything that's in my dream, and it's always just a shadow boxing. It's all parts of myself. So when it comes to dream interpretation, that's like a big in towards understanding what the dream is trying to reveal, but it also applies to our waking reality because we are a dreaming species. We're dreaming all the time, including right now, including when we're with each other. There was one time I remember Dana and I in our old house in the Hollywood Hills. We had a bathroom that had all kinds of mirrors all around, and we were having an argument in the bathroom. And I remember I had my hands on the sink. I was leaning over, looking at him and being like, I can't remember exactly what I said, but it was something like, I just want you to tell me you love me. And I literally caught out of the side of my eye that I was saying that to myself. And I was
In the
like,
mirror.
okay, this is weird.
Oh, that's a good
I
one.
just want myself to love me.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's all I really want. Okay, Kelly, I love you.
Mm,
I wanted Dana's voice to say it, but it was pretty cool hearing myself say it and de-escalating. So that was a moment that I
that's
hopefully will
amazing.
never forget. All right. Yeah, so what else? Let's
All
go.
right,
Should we go to the
before we go
F?
to F, I'm gonna mute and you're gonna talk about F.
Okay. So I am going to mute and talk about F. And I'm going to do that somehow. Where did it go? Yeah, maybe not. Okay. Well, what Joey and I were just talking about was just attuning to the higher self of the other person. So once we've done that, what comes next is to feel it because it's so easy to just go into that to go right back into the cycling inside the pain. But if we take in feel as if this person, this offending person, really did just say what we wanted them to say, how would we feel? So, this is an opportunity to just take it in, to let it be like water on a parched plant. And we take it in, we feel it, and we let it recalibrate us. So this is I would say maybe the simplest part, but also a super important part because we're talking about neural pathways. There's a neural pathway of pain. Pain yells, kindness seems to whisper when it comes to our neurophysiology. But if we can really feel as if they said those things to us and take at least take one beat to drop it in, then I think we're doing pretty darn good in the alchemy zone. What about you, Joe? What else
Oh,
happens on
that
that?
was super well said. This part reminds me of eating. A lot of times when people
Yes. Oh, totally. I think I know what you're
like
going to say.
a lot of times when people eat, they eat really fast. They chew
Yep.
one, two, three, and swallow before it's all the way down.
Mm.
And
Oh
we
my
look
God.
forward to eating. We look forward to that cake. We look forward to the ice cream. We look forward to the steak. We look for whatever it is. But we're so busy waiting for the next bite that we don't taste the bite that's in our mouths.
Oh my
So I
God.
feel like we have to eat twice as much in order to think we're even satisfied. Then we're overfull. Then we're still hungry because we weren't
Oh,
present to it.
oh
So I
my
feel
God.
like the F for
That was
feel
good.
is like how it's like I wish there was an F word for satisfied, like
It's like the
satiated. We
savoring
need
the
an
flavor.
Yeah,
We'll geek out
flavor.
on that
Okay, we'll
later.
play with that. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, like really feeling this is what everyone wants. Like every time you want a car, you get the car, then you want the next thing and you want the next thing, you want the next thing. So we have to
If you
stop and
don't feel
feel.
it, right, that little teeny bit, we might not need that much. I mean,
Yeah,
if we for example, okay, Frankie, my nephew, was really into Harry Potter for a while, and I went to Harry Potter World with him probably a dozen times at Universal Studios. And in part of the park, there was these candy stores that are just massive, where they sell candy bars that are like the size of a person and like Kit Kat bars that are literally the size of a person and like donuts that are bigger than your head. I mean, it was amazing. And you'd see these people walking around eating these things. And Frankie and I went into the candy store because it was just such a feast for the senses, such a fun place for the inner child to just go in. And so Frankie picks up a Kit Kat bar that's massive, and I look at him and I'm like, okay, let's just imagine that we're peeling open the wrapper and we're taking a bite out of that Kit Kat bar. And oh my God, the milk chocolate and that little crispy little crisp. I could just taste that. Oh my God, it tastes so good. And Frankie and I were just pretending that we were eating this. And the woman behind the counter, who, and I hope this doesn't sound horrible, but she was definitely admittedly, she admitted, she said, "Is that why I'm overweight?" It's because I just think I have to eat it. What did you guys just do? That was amazing. You could just imagine that you're eating it and you don't have to actually eat it. So, on that note, I'm going to add to this. So I just thought that was crazy because it was such a fun thing to do, and I did feel like I tasted it. So our friend Luke Renault from the Goodness Tour, who they do music and art for people experiencing adversity all over the world, war zones, all kinds of places. And as a musician that is always of service, he lives sometimes very close to the bone financially. And on this particular moment, he found himself in Paris and he was just playing music. He was, what do you call it, busking to like get
busking.
mixed. So he had very little money and he would love to go into the patisserie and the boulangerie every day, the bread and croissant, the place where they would have these things. And he would just walk in and look at everything and he would just imagine that I mean, he was so good at imagining that he was taking a big bite of one of those big almond croissants. And he was like, because he had no money to actually buy it. And he said that he would literally feel full and like he didn't need to eat it. I mean, I would say, how about a nibble? So anyway, I'm going off on a tangent, but you brought up food. So I think there's something in that, just imagining. So even if we have a little, like that, what it we don't have to eat an entire cake. We could have a little piece of the cake, savor it, and feel fulfilled to even
Yeah.
overflowing. We don't maybe need as much as we think we do. Mostly of the work, I mean, I would say within the feeling realm, actually, this relates to the very last bit, which is about gratitude, the gratitude for what we do have, thankfulness.
T.
So,
T for
should we go there
thankfulness.
now? Is there anything else you wanted to say about the feel?
I
Deep
just
down.
want to say that every story you pull out of your hat,
I
you're
thought you
like
were
the
going to say pull out of
magic
your
hat,
ass.
your hat,
Magic ass.
your magic ass. No, it's so good. Yeah, T is for thank. T
Yes.
is for being thankful because thankfulness and gratitude anchors in the thing that we have, and we're putting more attention on the having. And then it's like credit begets credit,
Yes.
love begets love, gratitude begets more things to be grateful for. So being thankful is so important to sandwich this between complaining and thankfulness. We do this short journey and it transforms us
Oh,
entirely.
right, right.
You
It's
want to
like
add?
yeah, I would say just to get really practical and nuts and bolts about it. So let's say I'm complaining and my upset is a level 8, 9, or 10 on a scale of 1 to 10. And
Mm-hmm.
by the time I have, so the C is for complain, the R is for the releasing, A is for the attuning, F is for the feeling. By the time I've gotten through the F, I've de-escalated down to, I'd say most of the time around a 2 or a 3. Like I might not be at a 0 entirely. Sometimes I am. But then the T for thankfulness is what starts to take me from empty. And I think where your hourglass comes in, this is where we get as empty as possible with through the CRAF. And then the T is what flips us up and where we start to fill up. Because if I start to think, even if I'm still a little bit mad at the person that upset me, I can say, well, I'm thankful that I have awareness that I don't like this thing. I'm grateful that I have a moral compass that has me not want to do that or has me be more attentive. I'm grateful that I'm sensitive to this pain. So it's not like I just have my finger touching a hot stove and I'm burning my finger off. I'm grateful that I can feel this. I'm grateful that I have awareness and I'm grateful that I know somebody's knocking on my door. Um, and so I can even be grateful for the upset because it's teaching me, as Abraham Hicks would say, it's always every upset is contrast. So it's helping me to recognize what is important to me. I value kindness. I'm grateful that I value kindness. I'm grateful that most of the time I do have kindness. I'm grateful. I'm thankful that I'm upset here because it's as if to say the rest of my life is pretty beautiful, and this little upset stands out because it's in contrast to this swath of beautiful things. So, ooh, this little thorn on my bountiful rose bush, it stands out because there's so much beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, so then I can just, and then I'm grateful that there's such thing as DreamCraft, and I'm grateful, and then once I start getting into that, then the ramp up, and then we can go past 15 minutes, but it's because I want to. It's not because I need to. I'm now out of hell and I'm entering the gates of heaven, and then I can go as high as I want, the more grateful I get. To you, back to you, Joe.
So
Speaking of, I'm
good.
grateful to you for
Oh my God.
co-creating this beautiful baby with
Um,
me.
it's such an honor. Are you kidding? Yeah, I just want to kind of sandwich something that I said at the beginning, and I want to say it again at the end because I'm geeking out about it a lot. And that is that most of us externalize our joy, our happiness, our love.
Yes.
We need external events to give us this feeling, and it becomes unsustainable like a drug. Like, now I'm jonesing, now I need more. I need to go more shopping. I need to go see a friend. I need to have sex. I need to, I need affection. I need more money. there's like this, hole in the bucket of some of our psyches when we're in fear or scarcity, and we are accustomed to, when we're feeling a little low, to externalize our needs in order to feel fulfilled. And I love dream crafting because it turns the need and the fulfillment inside to something that I actually have some power over. You have power over. We have power over our internal experience. I mean, just read Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, and
No.
you
Oh,
find out
Lord.
you
Poster
have
child.
power.
Yeah.
You have power over your inner experience, about what you say to yourself, about what you make things mean,
Right.
and you can make it mean what feels a lot better than your brain wants to make it mean. So I just really want to emphasize
Mm.
putting power back into our own hands and our own bodies, that we can not only be fulfilled, but we can see that we are already full. We can see that we're already full. We can remember ourselves as full when we do it this way, instead of really being in this nightmare that we have to get things externally. So this just puts a lot more power back into my often powerless feeling hands. And
Oh.
that's one of the reasons I love it so much.
I am trying to find the quote that we had at the beginning of our book, and I am not finding it right now. But that's okay. It's a Viktor Frankl quote that says something about when the external world doesn't behave, then we're forced to have to change ourselves. And that doesn't mean putting up with abuse. That doesn't mean staying where it's not healthy. It's just about doing what is yours to do, doing what is ours to do, cleaning the wind, cleaning that pane of glass from the side that we're on so well that it becomes clear what our next steps are, and we can take them with grace and with ease. And we stop being absolutely dependent on other people to be our be all end all. And it doesn't mean we don't love it when they are. It's wonderful, but we're not sitting around waiting to exhale. And then when they finally do give us the thing, we're like, are you sure? Is it going to last forever? Are you sure you're always going to do it this way? It's like, no, people are always going to screw up. People are often going to forget, often going to step on our toes, often do something that simply because their capacity is overloaded. People most of the time aren't jerks and often are worth keeping. And we are worth keeping. It's just a matter of doing what is ours to do so that we can de-escalate and enjoy this dream we call life. So I know we're wrapping it up right here. Joe, let's just do a little overview, shall we? Or is there anything else you want to say about the T in
No,
before we
thankful,
just
thankful, thankful. But let's run
thankful,
through the
thankful,
acronym
thankful.
again. So C is for complain,
R is for release.
A is for attune,
F is for feel.
and T is for thankfulness.
And
So
speaking of thankfulness, we can
I'm
also
so
be thankful.
thankful.
Oh, last thing I wanted to say. Okay, I should have said this at the beginning. I was thinking about this. One of the things we talk about in our book, DreamCraft Your Life, it will be coming out at some point soon, next year. Um, triggers. This is my challenge, maybe going forward to our viewers, listeners, to ourselves. What if what if we did the thing where Joey, you do this little yippee thing? Maybe you can describe yippee, but I want us to do it regarding triggers. When we're
Mm-hmm.
triggered,
Mm-hmm.
my default when I get triggered is to be like, no, why did this happen again? I thought I fixed everything so this would never happen. Why are they doing the thing, saying the thing? Ugh. And instead of doing that, what if I said, yippee? This is showing me what is still where I still have work to do. This is showing me where my edge is. This is showing me the miracle of what I incarnated here to do, which was to individuate and to identify what matters to me, what is important to me. When I get triggered, it's because it's being offended somehow, and how I can craft my life, dream craft my life in such a way that moves closer and closer toward the ideal that is in me that's wanting to express. So, what if there could be a yippee? I say this to people when you have a nightmare. Yay.
That's great.
Yay. Because the good work comes from that. It doesn't mean we can't learn and grow from all the actual joy, but when we get triggered, it's a yippee so we can roll up our sleeves and do the work, do the dream crafting of our lives. Anything else you want to say there, Joe?
Yeah, well, this makes me think of two things. One is apparently the Taoists believe that every difficult thing that happens that you get through burns off karma for your future. So they sort of celebrate the more difficult your life is on this planet. They're like, great, we're gonna
Ooh,
burning it off for the future. So that's one thing. Like that's one way to go yippee. They're actually like, great, let's get this over with. Let's get this done.
yes.
And then just regarding what the yippie came from. So
Oh
I
yeah.
I do sign language and my sister is Kelly K Wynn, is such an
Kelly
intelligent
K.
Kelly
Win.
K. Kelly K, actually. She's so intelligent, 2 degrees in psychology, just such a genius. And
And her
she
name's
has,
Kelly, and that's no accident.
that's right. Ha ha ha
Okay,
ha.
keep going.
Anyway, just she had she was so highly capable that when she'd make a mistake, it was very hard on her. And so she was going through a hard time and she made this mistake. And I looked at her and in sign language, I put, if you're just listening and you're not watching, I put my open hand out and I put 2 fingers standing on top of my hand like a person is standing on my hand. And then I lift it up and down and bend my legs, and it looks like someone's jumping up and down, going yippee, yippee, yippee.
Jumping for joy.
And so my sister made this mistake, and I went yippee. And she looked at me like, what? And I said, yay, you made a mistake. That means you're just going to figure out some other cool way to handle it. And she hugged me. And I know she actually, if she were able to tell this story, she would tell a better story than I'm telling because she had an
Oh, this is
internal
so
experience of
good.
like
Ooh,
that not only was she tolerated and it was okay that she made a mistake, but she was celebrated for making mistakes and it helped her in the future. So we're celebrating whatever comes up that needs to be dream crafted because once it's dream crafted, it's going to be a lot better than it was before. It's going to go from dross to
gold.
gold.
Muddy mountain, mud to the mountaintop.
Mm.
And I want to say one little thing because I have to add one little thing. When you talked about the Taoists saying that when we do work our way through some of the difficulties in this life, we're burning off that karma so we can have a more beautiful future. But I know you've also shared with me, Joe, about the Hawaiian mysticism, the Huna path. There's something in that, and tell me if I'm wrong about this, but everything that challenges us in this life is is some kind of a reflection of the past, and it's an opportunity for us to heal aspects of ourselves or things that we did to other people. So if there's one person that keeps being that difficult person in this life, maybe we were the difficult person in their life last time. So it's not just poor us that this keeps happening. If we can rectify that now, then we're also sending healing balm into the past as well. And even maybe ancestrally, maybe even not just our own past, but maybe our family's past, maybe our whole ripple effect of karma going backwards and forwards and in all directions. And I would say that's not a maybe. I've been hanging out with the noetic scientists, Julia Mossbridge and Dean Radin from IONS, the Institute of Noetic Science, and they would say it's provable what we do in the present not only affects the future, but it also affects the past. So as we dream craft our
Got chills.
lives in the here and now, it's moving in all directions for the highest good of all.
For the highest good of all. Oh, I thought you were a genius.
Ding! And so it is.
And
All
so
right.
it is.
We'd love to hear. All right. And make sure next time you're triggered, you say the magic word
Craft. Oh,
and
yippee,
yippee.
yippee.
And yippee. Sweet
The magic
dreams.
word is yippee, and then you craft. Okay.
Yeah. Sweet dreams.